Hi everyone, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about how I am learning Japanese. So I'm going to do a rundown on my journey with learning Japanese, and then I'm going to give you guys some tips at the end on what you can do in order to study Japanese. So let's get started. So the first thing I did was research. I wanted to know how could I learn Japanese? So that's exactly what I typed in. And the first thing that popped up was the Tofugu. So Tofugu is a Japanese learning website. It gives you tips, it gives you tricks, and it gives you resources on how to get started with learning Japanese. So it provided a step-by-step guide on what you need to do in order to reach the proficiency or get you to at least the immediate level. So the first thing it told me to do was to learn hiragana and katakana, and then that's what I did. I learned hiragana and katakana, and they had some resources listed on their website, and I can link you the whole link to what they have, and that's how I practice. I use mnemonics, and it was really good. I learned it in about 2 weeks, and it wasn't that hard, and I was able to access it from my phone. So when I was on the go, I was able to practice as well. So once I got comfortable with hiragana and katakana, the next step was kanji, because you need to know hiragana, katakana, kanji that make up the symbols or the characters of the Japanese alphabet. So I did WaniKani, which is a Tofugu program. They actually created WaniKani, and I did that for about 4 to 5 months. But I felt like I was getting really stuck. I wasn't progressing as much as I would like. I was learning some kanji and some vocab, but I didn't feel like I was actually getting as far as I would like, especially dedicating 4 to 6 months learning it. So I switched gears, and then it was back to my research, and it was back to typing in how to learn Japanese. So I found another guide, and I think it was Tae Kim's guide. But I didn't really follow Tae Kim's guide because it was kind of similar to Tofugu, but I just found someone. I typed in how to study for the JLPT N5. So I found out that that was a test that people test for, and in order to determine their proficiency in the language. So I felt like that was a good thing to do. So I typed that in, and I found some articles, and an article by a woman, she was saying how she studied for it, how she passed it. She also tried a WaniKani, and then how she switched gears in order to study for the JLPT N5 in a couple months. So I'll link that article as well. So I switched gears, kind of did her recommended article. So starting to learn vocab and grammar, because that's where I wanted to go. So this journey took me on finding a textbook, and the textbook that I used, let me get it, I found the Genki textbook. So I think it was on her recommended as well. So I went ahead and ordered this, and it teaches you grammar, vocab, and some kanji, and it has examples in here, and it explains a lot of the grammar notes that you need in order to prepare you for the JLPT N5. And a lot of the reviews are saying that this is not the end-all be-all in order for you to prepare, because it doesn't have everything that's going to be on there, but it's a very good foundation for you to start on. So I would recommend this book. And then it also comes with an accompanying workbook, and this is what I use as well. So it's the Genki, and it's Genki 2nd edition, by the way. This is the workbook that accompanies it. So whenever I'm done learning grammar notes and vocab in here, I go to here, and then I'm able to practice them. So some of the things I will say in the Genki textbook need a bit more clarification, or the explanation isn't very clear. And YouTube is bae, YouTube is always coming through, and when I was just doing a whole bunch of research, I stumbled upon the greatest sensei on YouTube, Misa Sensei. So Japanese Alma with Misa, I discovered her. She is very good. She has a whole beginner series, and it kind of falls in line and goes in sync with the Genki textbook. So a lot of the things that weren't clear in the Genki textbook became more clear through watching her beginner series. And with her beginner series, I took notes, and I have a notebook, and these are based off of those beginner series, which I would highly recommend. So that leads me on to the tips portion of this video. So the first thing I would say is to get organized and have a study plan. I didn't have that when I began to start studying the Japanese, and I got it later on down the road. It would have saved me. I thought I had a plan with the Wani Kani, but no. So have a plan. That will save you a lot of time, those 4 to 6 months. If I had a plan, then I think I would have been a lot farther along in terms of trying to learn Japanese for a year. So when I switched gears to the textbooks and to the YouTube videos, that's really pushed me along. So have your study plan, and yes, go along with those guides, but don't be afraid to stray along from the guides to fit your needs. These are just recommendations. So I kind of followed it like, I have to stick to this, I have to do what it says, but don't be afraid to stray from the recommendations if it's going to help you progress further on with the language. And then the next thing I would recommend is to take notes, just how I took notes in this book. I could show you guys how I organize my language learning notebook, but yes, take notes. Make sure you are, learn to write in hiragana and katakana. It will help you with your notes. Do not write in romanji when you're doing your notes. It's just how the first step was to learn hiragana, katakana, learn how to write it. And there's videos right here on YouTube. Another great sensei, Yuko Sensei. I learned how to write the characters from her, and it really helped me because it helped me with my reading comprehension. Just learning hiragana and katakana. Haven't learned how to write any kanji, but hiragana, katakana, and just knowing the kanji is going to be really helpful, especially with the Genki, because by chapter 3 that romanji is gone. So I would recommend practicing that way. And then I would recommend practice all this organization, all of these things. Make sure you're practicing. Even if it's just twice a week, make sure you're always practicing. That way it doesn't slip your mind, you don't fall too far behind. And practice and review. It's easy to finish a lesson and move on, but then you start to forget and everything piles up on top of each other. So don't forget to review once you've practiced everything. To reiterate, these are some tips and tricks on how you can start your journey on learning Japanese. I'm getting closer and closer, and where I am now, I just got done with learning the te form of all the verbs. So that's where my progress is at. And keep in mind, I am studying this on top of being a full-time student. So as long as you make the time for it, it's very doable. And I want to take my goal, let's talk about goals and be positive. My goal is to take the JLPT in December of this year. I really want to do it. I'm not sure if I'm going to get that far, but I'm going to push and I'm going to try. And if not, then I'll keep on pushing it until I pass it. So you guys, stay consistent, stay encouraged, and just remember, you can do it. Alright, see you guys next time.